Hi there, I'm Jay Tovey from Farrier Tuition, and today we're going to be going through a concave front shoe. So for a concave front shoe, we're looking for a nice even white heat. Clean all the scale off, and you can see that I'm holding my tongs at 90 degrees to the steel, and I'm using the round of my hammer to work either side of the toe to make a nice even flowing toe bend. Now the problem with concave material is it often twists, but you can see it's not twisting because I'm looking directly through the piece of material. Once the toe bend has been initially put in, I'm just tightening up the toe quarter bends over the bick. So I'm putting the toe shape onto the bick that I require and tightening them up, and then just tapping around the bick to smooth out any lumps and bumps to make the toe bend nice and flowing. Just make final adjustments at the end of your heat. You can see the heat is now a dull orange, and then we can go in for our next stage of our shoe, which is our lateral heel. So you can see again I've got a nice even heat, nice white heat. We're going to forge our heel on. So I'm using my hammer, just glancing blows on the heel check and on the outside of the heel to keep our heel shape relatively short. We want to make our heel shape for the particular horse that we're working on. I'm just working on the solid part of the concave material at the moment, and then you'll see that I change the angle of my hammer after I've leveled the shoe. Change the angle of my hammer to work on the concave edges. Just knock back the material to make it more solid. All the material is worked into the center of the steel. Just working on the concave edges again where the fuller in is. See, leaning my hammer around, just folding that material into the center, keeping it level, try not to distort any of the material. Just knock it back, make it nice and solid, as I said. So now I've got a nice even heat again, and you can see my tongs are at quite a high angle because I don't want them dropping below the 90 degrees. So as they do drop down, I rotate the tongs down. If they drop down below that angle, I readjust my grip, and all the work is being done with the tongs. The hammer is just hitting at one particular angle. We're now going to put our nail holes in our lateral branch. So our toenails, we want as much pitch as we'd have on the wall of the foot, less pitch at the heel, which is at the widest point, and in between the two, we want our pitch at angle to be in between the two. So 2 blows with a stamp, and then we can use our pritchel over the hole, and we should be able to just clean the nail holes out with the pritchel at a nice dull heat, so we don't get too much distortion of the shoe. You see it hasn't distorted much. We can turn over and level gently as to not crush any of the material. Once the nail holes are finished, we can just use the bick again, run around the bick with our hammer, smoothing out any lumps and bumps. Make sure our shoe is nice and level, and make sure there's no sole pressure on the foot surface. Now again, we want nice white heat, nice even heat all the way back to the toe for our medial branch. Now initially what we're going to do is safe off our medial heel by folding the concave edge in. Make sure the shoe doesn't twist, and then we can forge our heel check as we did the same as the lateral heel, and the outside of our heel exactly the same into the middle of the section, working on the solid part first and then changing the angle of our hammer and working on the edges that are created by the fuller end, and just fold them into the center. Be careful not to crush the material, keep it nice and level, untwisted, and we don't want to be squashing the material because it's very delicate on concave. Just finish our safe in, and then again over the bick in the same area, and drop our tongs, hitting the shoe in the same place, and rotate the shoe around the bick using the tongs. Hopefully the shoe will stay level. We don't want any twisting, so we can control that around the bick, keep it level. Medial nail holes are exactly the same as the lateral in the toe, more pitch in the medial toe. The medial heel is slightly further towards the toe, more upright, and the angle is between the two on the middle nail. 2 blows with a stamp, and then we can use the pritchel at a nice low heat over the nail hole just to clean them out. Should require 1 or 2 blows, and they should be nice and crisp because we're using the shoe now at quite a reasonably cold heat, which will make less distortion, so we don't have to level the shoe too much. And once the shoe's level, we can go over to the bick and we can run the shoe around the bick just to smooth out any lumps and bumps that have been created by the stamp. So all the way from the toenail all the way around to the heel, adjusting our tongues as we go. The last level up, make sure there's no sole pressure, make sure there's no twists, and we should be complete. Now we're going to clip our shoe with a bob punch, so we want quite a small localized heat, quite hot, quite a white heat. Again, we use our bob punch and we're going to push the material from our center dot, and we're going to push the material out by leaning our bob punch back slightly. This will create a nice bubble for us to draw a clip, so we want to level each side in distortion. Now I'm going to position the shoe and just work the bubble onto the flat of the anvil, just using the flat of my hammer to start with. And now I'm going to use the heel of my hammer, overlapping blows, and bring the tip of the clip towards myself. You can see that the shoe is now flat against the anvil, and we can finish the clip using flat blows, leaving lots of strength in there. Just level the shoe either side of the clip, because you always get a certain amount of distortion when clipping, and just level behind the clip. Make sure there's no risen areas, which again could cause sole pressure. Make any slight adjustments to any distortion that occurred. Final adjustments to our shape, and then we want to put the clip on the bick, and we want to set the clip to the same angle as the dorsal hoof wall would be. Just working it from the base, not from the tip. Final level, make sure there's no twisting. And at this point, the shoe should be ready to take to the horse to fit, so make any final adjustments. You should be close to achieving your desired concave front horseshoe. So here you are, here's our finished concave front horseshoe, clipped with a bob punch, all ready to fit to the horse. Thanks for watching, guys. We're Farry Tuition, and we'll see you at the next one.